Bill, you had assured us last week that at least in your mind, there was no give up with your team. Did they show that to you on Saturday night?
Yeah, well, certainly. I mean, that was a big question from a lot of people, is whether we kind of gave it up or mailed it in. But I was certain that our kids were going to show fight. We didn't come away with the victories, and there's no more victories in this. But I did appreciate the kids' effort and fight on Saturday night. And I thought hopefully we can use that as a building block as we move forward.
What are your impressions of Virginia as you have begun preparations for them? Obviously, very different without Coach
Well, I mean,
Bennett
there's still
there.
such. Yeah, yeah, it's very, very different team, very different matchup. All these opponents are different. They still are a very physical and well-coached defensive team. They present challenges in scoring and half-court offense. They are methodical on offense and use a lot of the shot clock and just a very disciplined team that plays well together.
Go to Chris Stock.
Yeah, Coach, looking back at the Cal game, what would you like about what your team did, how they played, and then conversely, kind of what you thought was the difference for Cal to get the win?
Well, I think the biggest issue for us was getting stops late in the second half and in overtime. We did a great job for the majority of the second half. We held them under 50% the first time we've held a opponent under 50 in a while. We did a really good job getting ourselves back in the game and eventually taking the lead. We weren't able to get the key stops down the stretch, and again, that's something we continue to work on and continue to try to get better at. Is capitalizing on a moment. And I thought if we would have got stops in that time, it would have been great for us to come out with the win. But conversely, I thought we shared the ball, did a great job sharing the basketball. We found the open man. We were aggressive in transition. It was a lot of positive things from the game that we can take from it. And hopefully, again, we can use that going forward.
Do you have a follow-up, Chris?
Yeah, I was just going to ask more questions. I was just curious if you could give us kind of updates on the freshmen individually. If you could just start with Jaleel and then Austin Devine, just each of them individually, their seasons, kind of with where they're at right now and how
Well,
you've seen them play.
yeah, I think all three of them are getting better. In particular, on the defensive end, they've all made strides. They're three of our most talented players. They're just freshmen, and they still have, they had a lot to learn coming in. But I think they've all gotten better at this point in the season. They've been progressing every single day. You see it in practice. I thought Jalil in particular played great on Saturday. He made good decisions. We put him at the point guard position. He made great decisions. He ran the team. He was much better defensively. Austin obviously shot the ball well, and Divine, ran the team and provided defensive pressure for us. So I think all of them in their own way are contributing, and they're all, again, they're going to be very, very good college basketball players, and they're doing a good job of getting better and learning.
Go next to Kip Coons.
Yeah, good morning, Bill. You've been around this league a long time, and you've seen a lot of trends come and go. But I'm wondering right now, given that the way rosters change from year to year, sometimes from semester to semester, is it harder to teach offense now or defense to that new group, seasonally?
Well, obviously for us, it's been defense. I think each individual program has their challenges as to what they can get in a short time. But the main difference is the culture that you've established as a program. We were talking about the other day, and our most veteran player is Matthew Cleveland, who's been here a year and a half. So again, they weren't able to see the culture that was built, the way you do things, the way you kind of develop from year to year. So that is a challenge. Again, I think the defensive concepts are very difficult to learn quickly. But again, you just got to kind of adjust and make the adjustment and do the best you can.
And if I could follow up on that, when you look around the league, who do you see as are the individual lockdown defenders, the best defensive players that you've seen so far?
Well, I think you start with Duke. I mean, obviously they're the best team in the league right now. Kid Sion James is terrific defensively. He provides so many issues because he's a strong guard. He's kind of their lockdown guy. I think a guy like Hunter Salas is very underrated as a defender. He does a great job with his length and anticipation in the passing lanes. There's several guys on every team. Those are just the guys we've seen so far. And as we continue to go through the league, I'm sure we're going to see more guys that are really terrific at that end of the floor.
Back to Chris Stock.
Yeah, coach, just curious, a couple player updates. Just Lynn Kidd, his status with where he's at. Will he be available Wednesday? And then just kind of the routine question with Nijel. And with Nijel, I guess the question would be, do you think he'll play at some point this season?
First start with Nigel. I have no idea. I've had no idea for a while now, and so obviously that's difficult for us because he's our leading scorer, leading assist, team captain. But we don't have him, and we got to prepare as if he's not going to be around. With Lynn, it's day to day. We'll probably have some more idea of what's going on by tomorrow, but hopefully he's ready for Wednesday.
And just to follow, kind of going back to defensively, we've talked so much about some of the issues you guys have had. I'm curious specifically though about 3-point defense. Why do you think that has been such a problem issue for you guys, and what needs to change to get that number down with where you would like it to be?
Yeah, well, I think it starts with guarding the ball, first of all, because if you can't control the ball, they're able to get into the paint. When they're able to get into the paint, you have to help. We haven't had great success at 2-point defense either, so we have to help, and then you kick it out for open threes. It's kind of the way you play basketball in the modern era is inside out. So if we can do a better job of controlling the ball, not letting it get to the paint, I think you'll see our 3-point percentage go down.
David Teal, go ahead.
Bill, on the other end, you guys had not been a very good 3-point shooting team on the year, but then you go out and make 14 of 27, I think it was, at Cal. Was that a matter of shot selection, or was it just a matter of basketball's a fickle game and you never know when the shots are going to fall?
Yeah, David, I think it's a little bit of both, right? Our guys have, had have struggled. And guys that can make shots, for instance, Brandon Johnson hadn't made shots all year. He had 1-3 in ACC games. But we knew every day in practice he makes shots. And we knew it was just a matter of time before he got going. And he was able to make 4 threes on Saturday. Guys that are good shooters, shooting with confidence and shooting the right shots. I think that was the key for us on Saturday. And hopefully that's something that will continue. I don't know if we'll make 14 every game, but hopefully that's something that will continue because we do have good shooters on this basketball team.
And then we'll go back to Chris Stock for the last word.
Sure. Thank you. Matt Cleveland, again, another performance from him. What you saw from him in that game down the stretch in regulation, him to hit that 3, just the totality. I know the results for you guys haven't, but just the way he's been playing for most of this stretch. I know you've talked on his leadership, but just what he's kind of bringing each and every night, it seems like.
Well, Matt's a very talented player, and he's playing like it right now. I mean, he's playing as well as anybody in the league. He's doing all the things that we expect him to do. He's doing even more. He's not turning the ball over. He's finding his teammates, and obviously he's playing offense at an extremely high clip. He's so tough to contain in transition, and it starts with that for him on the offensive end because if he gets a rebound, he can go coast to coast. If he gets an outlet, he can take it to the rim, and he's really in attack mode. Thus, his 3-point shot is really working also because you attack the rim like that. People want to take a step and back up, and he's been making that shot. So hopefully he'll continue to play at this clip.
Bill, thank you. Appreciate the time today. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
We will have Red